Aloha, everyone. Great to be reconnecting with you today. Where I'm doing this live is June 7th, and it is a Wednesday. I do try to do my live streams on Wednesdays and then get them out to the podcast on Thursdays. Doesn't always work out, but I do my best to stay on schedule with that. And so I'm grateful to be reconnecting with you today. I'm excited about today's subject matter. This is, of course, connected to the entire series that we are doing now. For those of you that have just discovered me and just discovered this podcast, my name is Paul Fletcher, and I am the founder of the Wellspring of Light. That happens to be the name of my website, also Wellspring of Light with the TLIGHT.com. And I share with you the wisdom that was brought to me by my teacher about the wisdom of Tao healing. Tao is spelled Tao. And Tao healing is a form of healing that acknowledges that we all come from one source, and that from that source we are given this wonderful ability to do anything we want, free will. We make good and positive, supportive choices that are in alignment with love and compassion and oneness, and that helps us and everyone around us. And then some of us make choices that are very selfish and self centered and harmful to those around us. And Tao healing acknowledges that those choices, both positive and negative, affect our soul journey. And how it affects our soul journey is those choices, positive and negative, remain on our vibration, on our field, on our soul. And so as we become this infant, this child that comes into this life, we, for the most part, are completely unaware that we are a soul having a physical experience. And as a person by the name of Paul or Bill or Mary or Jane or whatever we call ourselves, uh, Tao Healing recognizes that any success, whether it's success in health or finances or relationship, that a massive contributing factor to that success is what we came in with. Our soul came in with a lot of positive, healthy, loving frequency and vibration if we're having success in these aspects of our life. And Tao Healing also recognizes that if we are having a lack of success, failure, pain, suffering, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, which is what we're talking about today, or in health, whatever it might be, then there's also a root cause or an originating factor of why we might have suffering in our life. And again, it boils back to the vibration on our field that our soul is carrying. So, simply put, Tao Healing acknowledges that we are a soul, that in this life, because we Tao Healing recognizes that there's a very reasonable and real possibility that we live more than once. And it gives us a opportunity to no longer be the victim of circumstances or things that we think might be outside of us or things that happen to us. It gives us a reason why those things, both positive and negative, happen to us. So if you are new to this, that's a very basic explanation. Now, I encourage you to subscribe to my podcast. I am on Spotify and all the major podcast players that are out there. Or you can simply go to my Wellspring of Light, click on the podcast link, and you can subscribe that way as well. And this is, I'm into about the fifth month of my podcast. I started out by teaching the Tao of healing for the physical body, where you understand the root cause of why you might be suffering. Then, after about 7 or 8 weeks of that, I went into the emotional body. So I cover all the different emotions: grief, sadness, fear, worry, anxiety, and more. Then I went into the third series, another 7 or so weeks of the mental body, right? All of our mindsets, attitudes, and beliefs. And I went into detail about how you can heal and transform these kinds of blockages. The prior series to the one I'm in now, I went over the relationships. So if you are an individual that has issues with relationships, even a current life, I highly recommend you go back and listen to my podcast on relationships. I am very knowledgeable in that particular department. I can tell you that's not one you want to miss. I drop so many nuggets of wisdom in there that will help you. And I also have a course. So if you go to my website, wellspringoflight.com, I have a specific course in there for your relation, not just one relationship. If you apply the wisdom, you can just heal almost all your relationships, and that will literally transform your life in such a massive way. This series, I am now in the fourth, I believe it's the fourth. Let me double check that. The fourth, one, two, three, yeah, the fourth contribution to this series on finances. Now, definitely go back and watch the first three. Fortunately, they're relatively individual in their wisdom, but they are very connected. And the final podcast in this series is I'm going to link them all together. But the first one is that's about 3 weeks ago, the root cause of financial, business, or success problems. And then the second one I did in this series, 7 daily spiritual practices to transform your financial, business, or success problems. The third one, just last week, that I did in this series, which was actually very interesting because it must have been very potent. I went live just like I'm live now, and nobody showed up on the screen. It went to recording. It worked on all 9 destinations that I placed this in, but no one was able to watch me live. I thought that was very interesting. So it was a very powerful. Whenever that happens, that means that the wisdom is very high level. What did I teach? I taught the Tao of creation and manifestation of wealth and success. And for those of you that are Master Sha students, you know he speaks about the creation and reverse creation circles. And so I took that slice of wisdom and tied it into a deeper understanding of the Tao and how that creation and reverse creation manifestation circle can be tied into your understanding of wealth and success. So it's a very powerful teaching. I hope you go back and watch it. Today, the past and its effect on your manifestations. So I see right now 9 of you have joined. Please say hi in the chat. I'd love to acknowledge you. I'm grateful for your presence here. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into today's topic. So next week, by the way, I'm going to go into far more detail in a very specific manner. Next week is understanding dimensions and time in relationship to manifestation and success. Today, I'm touching on one small facet of that. I'm going to expand on that facet. Next week, dimensions and time in relationship to manifestation and success. Put it on your calendar. Come, don't miss that one. Today, I'm going to take the subject of time, and specifically the past, and its effect on your manifestations. So let's talk about that a minute. Each and every day, we wake up and our mind, our body, goes into automatic mode. We get up with the alarm. We say, oh my God, I'm late. Or, I have to do this, I have to do that. We bring ourselves out of bed, put our feet on the floor, and we're off to the races. And the races could be rubbing the sleep out of your eyes and getting that cup of coffee, or it could be jumping in the shower. And almost instantly, our mind starts going. And so we step from sleep mode into time mode. When we step into time mode, we have 3 options of where our thought goes. Guess where those 3 are? Past, now, this moment, or future. So what happens when we focus on past or present or future? Well, we're going to talk about past, so let's go to the present. When we are focused on the present, most of us in the present, let's pay attention, most of us in the present are thinking about something from yesterday or what we're going to do later today. So we are not actually in the present. So actually being present is one of the single most important things that you can do to improve and increase your manifestations. Because when you are present to your default to the past or future, when you are present to your mind's default to the past or the future, you are able to pull yourself back in to the now and shift your thoughts, which then determine your words and your actions. It is when we remain in default mode of past or future that we can create significant blockages in our manifestation journey. Okay. So raise your hand if you're an affirmation person, right? You're one of those people that says these beautiful affirmations. You know, I am a successful warrior. Everything I do brings success. So why is it that we still suffer? Why is it that no matter when we do those steps, we don't seem to be able to get ahead? Past and future. Let's talk about the future for just a minute. Future, we can use future pacing in the present. We can visualize very positive things in the future. This is very much like an affirmation. And that works. We're going to talk about that more as we move further into the series. There's a specific way to do that to enhance your success. Okay. But most of us do not utilize our time, me included. I might get in a half hour a day, if I'm lucky, of positively focusing on my future. Well, what then tends to fill up my time if I am future pacing? What fills up your time if you're present enough to see yourself in a future pace? It's most likely something that has an apprehension associated with it. How am I going to pay that bill? A fear associated with it. What I'm going to do about ABC, right? It has something to do with a negative potential, at least for a lot of us. And since we're talking about finances, if you are here and watching, most likely it's because the title attracted you because you may be having some financial restrictions and you'd like to find some solutions for that. So part of that solution is presence. When you are present and you catch yourself in a future what would you call it? A machination, a pontification, a forward thought process. You ever find yourself in a mental loop where you're going, oh my God, what am I going to do about this? Right? And it's future paced, fear about this. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? What if that happens? It's truly of the greatest importance right here and right now that you are crystal clear, like clearer than the most pure water, crystal clear. Your every thought, every single one of them, has a direct impact on your manifestations, including your finances. So when you have any focus of a fear-based loop, especially if it's around your finances, same thing with relationship, doesn't matter what it is. When you have a fear, worry, doubt-based circle going on, you are manifesting tomorrow with the future thought. You're going to get more of what you don't want. Now, if that's new to any of you, that would be a shock to me because I knew this 20 years ago. And I'm still not rolling in the financial dough. I'm doing okay, thank God, but I could do much better. But from 20 years ago when I knew this, and probably 20 years ago when you knew this, why haven't we succeeded? Why haven't we applied what we know? Because we know that if we think about something negative in the future, it will affect us negatively. And yet we still find ourselves doing it. Why? Because we have not been present enough. Why? Because of the negative information in our vibration. Tao Healing removes the negative information in your vibration, but you must direct it specifically to what that negative information is. Most of you here today practice Tao Healing. You practice forgiveness. You receive financial blessings, but we're still broke. Why? We are not truly clearing the vibration in our field where that root issue is. Why are we not clearing where that root issue is? Because we're not paying attention to the past and how it's affecting us, or that future-paced fear, worry, doubt, da 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 da. So before I move into talking about the past, let's touch on the future just a little bit more. Start paying attention to that future, fear, worry, doubt based thought. Capture it and say, I see you for what you are. You are trying to serve me. Remember, what's the purpose of every soul? Does a thought have a soul? Does a word have a soul? Does an action have a soul? Everything, according to Tao wisdom, has a soul. Everything has a soul. Everything. A thought has a soul. A negative thought has a soul. A positive thought has a soul. Everything has a soul. This is very relative and important wisdom. The soul of that negative thought has but one purpose. It's the same purpose for every soul. The soul is to serve you. How is a negative thought serving me? It is serving you by giving you the opportunity to say, hello, hi, I see you. Normally, I would simply bite into you and go forward another 10 minutes and ruin my tomorrow. But now I see you and you're trying to serve me. I'm going to give you an opportunity to transform. I no longer wish to carry this negative information, and it's in my field. I am going to give you the opportunity to transform. I love you. Give that soul love. I thank you. Please forgive me to all souls in all time that I have ever offered thoughts that have created worry for you, doubt for you, fear for you about your financial future. Isolate what that fear or doubt, future thought is, whatever it is, that negative thought. Ask forgiveness around ever creating that same kind of condition upon another, and then trace a calligraphy or chant love, peace, and harmony. Do a forgiveness practice. Turn on your healing transmissions, whatever you have, and address it specifically to that. That is how you remove the negativity from your field, not a generic statement of heal my finances. Now, that's how we address the future. This same wisdom applies, doesn't matter if it's a relationship, doesn't matter what it is, same wisdom applies. You have to be present to catch yourself in the past of the future. So let's go to the past. How does it affect us? It affects us because everything we did yesterday and the day before yesterday and last week and last month and last year and all of our previous lifetimes is still in your vibration. So if today you do something positive and then you arrive at tomorrow, stay with me on this, you do something positive today, you arrive at tomorrow, then the previous day is the past, isn't it? I'll say that one more time. You do something positive today, 24 hours later, you're in tomorrow, which is your present. And what you did yesterday was something positive. Whatever you've done in the past affects tomorrow, the next day, the next week, the next year. Whatever happened many lifetimes ago, this life, this month, affects now and forward. So your past is most likely the single most important thing that you want to pay attention to, relationship to its contribution to your future. The past is what is the culprit for your fear-based thoughts, for your doubt, for your da-da-da-da-da-da. Why are you defaulting to that? Because it has proven itself to be true in your past. Now, next week, I'm going to go into a significant more detail on understanding dimensions and time in relationship to manifestation and success. I'm going to be talking more about how you can cognize, be present to the present, and understand that time is not a horizontal line. That's all I'm going to say for now. It's not like this is back here and this is up here. That's not how time works. That's not how dimensions work. We're going to go into that next week. And when you understand that, you can affect your manifestations and your success. Sticking to the past, okay? For now, we'll think about it as something back here, because for our comprehension, for our understanding, that's how we need to look at it. Your past according to the most advanced wisdom of manifestation understanding, is 100% completely irrelevant. Irrelevant. Has no effect whatsoever on what you create tomorrow unless you give it attention. Once you give it attention, it becomes part of your present vibration, which then creates your future. When you are in your present and you feel something from the past that is not of a positive, supportive, loving frequency and vibration, it doesn't contribute to what you want in your future. Once the very moment you recognize it, your responsibility is to see it, to know it is simply a picture. It is a snapshot from back then. It has no relevance to now. But the minute you buy into it, the minute you give it relevance, the minute you loop, the minute you empower it, you are charging it up in the present and bringing it into your future. The same applies to why you can't find true love, why you're not able to heal this and that relationship, da 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 da. But specific to our finances, if you want to start moving from, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, I'm doing my forgiveness practices, I'm chanting, I'm tracing my Dao Ye Chang Sheng, I'm doing A, B, C, but nothing seems to be changing. Be present. Your thoughts, that has been stated by many, many people, that there's between 50 and 100,000 thoughts per day that you experience. Probably more per day. That's how fast this computer is. It is not as hard as you think if your predominant agreement is to be the witness of your thoughts instead of be your thoughts. How do you be the witness of your thoughts? You consistently catch yourself. You have to consistently see yourself running. This morning, my mind was so active. It was doing all kinds of negative capitulation. It was just going everywhere. And about every 5 minutes, I'm like, God, please. And I just, started chanting, started transforming it. So do not think that you're special with all the negative thoughts that run through your head. You are not. You are a human. We are bombarded daily, hourly, by negative news, by the debris that's all over our social media platforms. All kinds of stuff is bombarding our field, not to mention what we already have in our vibration. So it is a monumental effort just to be present. Know that as true. And know that if you are not present, it will continue to bombard you, and the opportunities and possibilities of getting ahead could be limited. So you need to agree to be the one who is the observer of your thoughts. You can assist yourself to be more and more present by utilizing what's available to you. Use your tools, use your calligraphies, use your healing abilities, your light balls. Use the mantras and the chanting and ask them to assist you to be present to your thoughts. And then you catch yourself in a past negative thought. Okay, let's say you're remembering that ex and how they took you to the cleaners with the house, the car, the kids, the dog, the cat, everything, right? And so you have this anger and this resentment, whatever it is that's negative, that it gets in the way of you manifesting positive. You catch yourself in that negative thought. Next, what's the purpose of every soul? Does that thought have a soul? Yes or no? Yes. What's the purpose of every soul? To serve you. This negative thought is trying to serve you. How? It's trying to assist you to see it so that you can transform it so that it leaves your vibration forever. So you give it love. That's what every soul needs. I love you. Thank you for your service. And during my healing transmissions, please turn on. Please bless this negative thought to heal and transform. Please bless my perception about that experience to heal and transform. Maybe in this example, you had a spouse and they took you to the cleaners. What if in a different lifetime you took them to the cleaners? Who's the bad person at this point in time? Maybe this was a great opportunity to transform it. But if you hold on to that angst, that resentment, that whatever it is you're holding on to, obviously it's not serving your future and it's staying in your field. And do you think next lifetime it's going to be in your field if you don't transform it? The answer is yes, it will be there. So why not see its service to you and forgive that person? Forgive yourself for holding on to it. Very important. Thank that soul for giving you that opportunity to wake up, to see this opportunity. Bless it to transform. Do your forgiveness. Chant however long you need. And then tomorrow, when it returns, because there's a reasonable possibility it will return, you repeat the same process. Why did it return? Because 3-minute recognition of it and blessing might not have transformed 10 lifetimes of you guys hurting each other financially. Okay? So you bless it and you recognize that soul as many times as it takes for it to leave your vibration. The next time it might come in is 2 weeks later. You bless it again. Next time it might come in is 1 month later. You bless it again. Pretty soon it's just out of your vibration. This approach works. It works because we're addressing the individual past negative information that's on our vibration on a per individual basis. Take your moments and be the observer of them. Observe yourself future pacing negative, observe yourself past pacing negative. Then when you are present and you have neither of those, that's when you apply positive thinking. It's much easier to apply an affirmation and bring a positive emotion to that affirmation when you're not playing in the left or the right side of past and future. Okay? So my podcasts are only 30 minutes long. They're filled with these wonderful nuggets. And my guess is that only 50% of this was new information to you. Anyway, where you said, oh, I never thought about it that way. I knew that, but I never thought about putting it together in this way and working with it this way. Great. If I can only give you 5% additional information that you did not have before, then that's huge. That 50% that you already knew, you knew that last year, you knew it the year before, you knew it 10 years ago, you probably knew it 20 years ago. Why haven't you succeeded yet? Because of the negative information in your vibration. Now that you have that toolkit, now that you have that wisdom, now that you know to pause, be present, catch yourself in the past or future, and dissolve that using your toolkit, and be consistent with that, what that will do for you is it releases that negativity. It releases less fear, less doubt, less worry. It releases this past experience, that past experience, your automatic reactions to the bill, your automatic reactions to those fears. It releases their karmic reactions, your automatic reactions, responses, because you address them minute by minute, little by little, and you unwind them from your field. You extract them from your field with love and the power of these abilities that you've received, these light balls, these transmissions, forgiveness practice, and more. And then something magical happens. You're more present. You're more positive. You have much more gratitude. Your affirmations start working. Things start positively working in your favor. Huh, amazing. How did that happen? Because they're not competing the past and the future. That's why. Okay? This is how you move yourself from where you're at to where you want to be by acknowledging your present, being present. If you enjoyed this, make sure you like and subscribe. I have a membership that is truly amazing. 5 days a week, I do half-hour practices using a lot of these skills, a lot of these wisdoms for clearing this negative information from your field. Every Wednesday, including earlier today, I do practices for financial blessings using specialty calligraphies. I have where you can watch the recordings if your time zone doesn't allow you to be live with me. I also do daily healing for you in my membership. If you're part of my silver membership, you say, Paul, I want you to give me daily blessings for this issue and this issue. And I do that while you're sleeping. I do that when you're awake. Doesn't matter. Every day I'm doing blessings for you. That's just a few features of my membership. So go to my website, wellspringoflight.com. The first month is half off, right? Try it before you buy it. Get a full 30 days of my program at 50% off. I've yet to have somebody that doesn't keep the membership and pay the full price, which is very reasonable for everything that you get. And you can increase your wealth that way because you have opportunity to practice in a high frequency field. And you can listen to my recording for finances that I do every Wednesday. So you're always bringing more wealth into your field. It's been a great joy to serve you. I encourage you to come back next week when I go into understanding dimensions and time in relationship to manifesting and success. Tell your friends about this podcast. Share this. This is live on Facebook and YouTube. Grab that link, share it with your friends. Bring them back here next week, and I will see you then. Until then, have an awesome day. Bye-bye, everybody.